It's that time again. It's the podcast that takes your personal and professional life to a whole new level. Whether you're selling a product, selling a service, or selling yourself, one thing is for sure. You're always selling for life. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of the Selling for Life podcast. Glad to have you guys on board. Remember, this podcast is sponsored by ConEquip Parts, a world of parts with a personal touch. And I am joined by the owners of ConEquip Parts, all three of them today. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hey. How you doing?
Really nice to have you guys back. This podcast is about more than just selling stuff. It's about more than even selling yourself. If you listen, maybe you'll figure out what we're all about truly, but we think if you stick around, you'll get something out of it. And we're, again, glad to have you with us. Al, Ryan, Ben, how are you guys doing?
We are doing good.
Good. I hope you're juiced up, because last week you worked too. And, you really brought it home last week. I have a feeling you're going to do the same this weekend.
Wow. Especially, Al actually worked last week?
Especially when I tell you, Al, how many downloads we have now for the Selling for Life podcast.
How many downloads?
Selling for wives. That's awesome.
Selling your wife podcast?
Selling your wife podcast. That would be a podcast.
Took a turn right there.
What do they call that? A Freudian slip?
That is a great idea. The Selling for Wife podcast.
Are you selling your wife, Steve? I'm telling her.
I'll tell you what, if she found out that I was willing to sell her, she'd be like, oh, tell me where to go. I'm out of here.
That's why we're not going to tell her.
The Selling for Life podcast, we checked the download count, and Al will be happy to know that we had 870 downloads last week.
We had 870 downloads for listening to us?
870 Selling for Life podcast downloads. So
You're full of crap.
Yes, I am. Sorry.
There's like maybe 5.
I was going to say, do we even hit double digits yet?
Steve, why are you messing with us?
Because I liked your face when I said that.
Got us all hopeful.
Maybe
our time doing this was worth it.
See, no. I've known Steve for 38 years, and I did not buy it for a split second.
We'll see. We don't have the statistics yet. We'll work on that. I think we just started the system last week. I think you need to wait a whole week before you start seeing the results.
No, you get statistics after one happens.
Unless you pay for the service. So, and we're not willing to do that. Well, Ryan's not willing to do that just yet, I don't think.
Well, if it justifies your job.
To pump any more money into this.
Yeah.
And now it is time for the topic of the day. And the topic of the day is diligence. Al, diligence. It's one of the core values at ConEquip. Al, take it away. Diligence. What is diligence?
What is diligence? Well, I was diligent enough to pull up our podcast, or our core values, I should say, for our podcast. As we talked about the last couple weeks, diligence is the second one in our podcast, right? That we're going to talk about. Core value, it says, know well the conditions of your flock and give attention to your herds. That is Proverbs 27:23. So that's what diligence for our core value is based on, Proverbs 27:23. Ben, did you know what diligence really is?
I really wasn't paying attention. I was trying to mess with Steve. Can you start over?
Okay.
Can you hit rewind or something?
He was diligently messing with me.
So diligence. I'm going to talk to Ryan. Ryan?
Yeah.
Did you know what diligence is?
No.
All right. Well, I know what diligence is because I just read it in Proverbs 27:23. It's know well the condition of your flocks and give attention to your herds.
Let's backtrack a little bit, Mel. We'll just kind of do a little refresher. You were talking about, you don't have to go into the whole thing, but it came to a point in this company's early goings that you guys realized you needed some sort of structure, some sort of platform to start working off of, and that's where the core values kind of came to. Why don't you go into a little bit more about that before we continue on diligence? Like why are we even bothering with diligence?
We came up with some core values because we heard a podcast, I think it was, or we read a book. I'm pretty sure it was Zappos. One of the owner of Zappos, he had core values. I think there was a list of 10 or 12 of them, and we figured we can come up with a few. and we came up with 5. The first one we went over was character. This one is diligence. Character for ourselves was born out of struggle and perseverance of struggle. And we talked about that last week and the week before. When you are facing something and struggling, don't give up, because who knows? That next few calls or that next week, things can turn around. And in diligence, everyone thinks that it's just hard work, persistent hard work. It's part of it, right? But when we started building this core value type of list out, we realized in studying diligence, it's a lot more than just hard work. Ryan, you ever work hard?
Only occasionally.
Only occasionally. To be completely honest, a lot of people out there work hard, right? A lot of people working hard. What does that mean when it comes to, thinking about success and doing your best? Does working hard get you success, Ryan?
No.
Not necessarily.
Ben?
It is a factor in success, I believe.
Facts? Okay.
It is a factor in success.
Working hard is a factor in success. Well, I tell you what, diligence, as we learned, is just being more than just a hard worker. It's being aware of what's happening around you. You can't be with blinders on in life. So if you're responsible for something, you gotta know what the heck's going on. I heard, a week ago on another podcast I was listening to, they were talking about millennials being 34% lower in wealth accumulation than any other generation before them. And I thought to myself, holy crap, what the heck does that mean? Why is it that generation, and even before them, think about it, was so much more accomplished or so much more successful in a way of just wealth? What is missing in this generation? I think this is it, man. I think there's a lot of hard workers out there. I just think they just don't have diligence and awareness of what's going on around them. Kind of feel like almost oblivious.
I think a lot of it has to do with, look, when we started ConEquip, Al and Ben, when you guys came to me, you had more information than anyone I had ever worked with. So you knew the condition of your flocks. It's not necessarily about the hard work that goes into it. Yeah, there's hard work, but it's knowing what to work on in the situation and circumstance. And the three of us always come back to, what can we lay down that someone else can pick up in our company so that we can move on to what we need to be doing? And again, that's just part of the diligence in it. It's not necessarily always hard work day in and day out that makes progress. It's knowing what needs focus and what needs attention inside your company, inside your home, inside your family.
Bomb just been dropped.
Is it my turn yet? Can I add something yet?
Go ahead, bro. It's on you.
Why is it that generation that is so, I'm going to call them unproductive? Because why is it that the generation before, and so on, have been diligent, have been productive, have good character? Is it because they were taught that way? So I dare say it's my fault.
You're right.
Well, Ben, kind of along those lines, I get the feeling like the millennial generation and even our generation to a certain extent, we were told, you can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. You can go to any school or get any degree. And let's be truthful, that's just not honest. God has not made all of us to do everything and anything. He has specific character traits in all of us to do certain things in life. And by telling our kids, hey, you can be anything you want to be, you can be super successful, we're taking away that ability to narrow down what their gifting is and put them into the workforce and get them out of our houses into the workforce to be successful in certain areas, because they feel lost, because they look at something and feel like they should be successful at everything, because I've got a trophy that says I was a winner when no one kept scoring a game.
Yeah.
There's no losers.
There's no losers.
We're all winners.
Until you get kicked out of the house and have to go get a job and succeed in life.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, Ryan and Ben keep dumping on millennials, but I think millennials are proving to be one of the most resilient generations, because they grew up, a lot of them, without parents, and grew up without a lot of the things that really do make for a successful person. Not necessarily just be given stuff materialistically, but they have to kind of find their own way in this life now. So I challenge you guys to kind of think about millennials as being one of the most persevering generations. What do you think about that?
Oh my goodness, Steve, you are so diplomatic. It's annoying. That's
I don't even want to address it.
Completely honest. Obviously, I picked that particular demographic just because it was listed with that 34% reduction in wealth accumulation. It was a surprising fact for me, but I think you're right. I mean, you're talking about reality. I think you're talking about the idea of a family breakdown over certain generations where there's more split homes now maybe than others. I think that's what you're trying to say, Steve, which obviously the coolest thing about life is you get a choice. Once you're aware of what you don't know, then you become knowledgeable about what you don't know.
I'm just trying to inject controversy into the show because
No,
that's what
that's
you
totally
suggested I do.
Oh, I totally know.
There's
that.
Steve.
Steve he's doing a good job. I think awareness starts with yourself. Like Ryan mentioned, like when he first met us, right? We had more information, Ben and I, and who was working with us at the time. We had more information about what was going in our business, right?
Yep.
We had spreadsheets. We counted every metric that we could think of at that time.
Yeah.
And we were aware of what was happening. It was half the battle, knowing ourselves. And I think you mentioned, Ryan, which was great, the idea that you say, okay, we can be anything and do anything. Yeah, that's a great concept. But I'm built a certain way.
Yes, you are.
God made me a certain way.
Very heavy on top.
I'm very heavy
Skinny
on top.
legs.
Hey, you know what's funny about that?
Hey, you should see
on a
him bench
tangent,
pressing.
I could bench it a lot, but I actually started off in life with a smaller upper body and a big lower body. My legs were bigger,
You're shaped like a squash now.
and now I'm like a squash, standing upside down.
He's gonna squash you, Steve.
Back to what I was saying. I think that the ideas that you're talking about really are true. You got the idea that you need to be self-aware. You need to be aware of your surroundings, of what you're responsible with. If you're starting a business or you're in sales or whatever you're doing, you need to know the actions that you're taking lead to a certain result, right? And that's why I love the idea of you bringing up that soccer trophy. Everybody's a winner. If your actions in a game suck, you should lose, right? I mean, that's the way. You need to feel that result. Or else how can you overcome that? How can you build character and overcome? So I'm like thinking about this for the last few days, and I'm getting more and more juiced up and aggravated almost.
Yeah, sounds like
You
it.
go, Al.
I know you guys aren't.
Sounds
I'm
like
on
it.
fire
Baby,
about
preach
it.
it.
but I am on
And he
fire
just got
about
done
it.
with lunch. Imagine if he didn't eat lunch.
It makes me mad. We're like almost lying to a whole generation
We're
of
lying
people.
to generations that you're going to win at everything and you're going to produce all this great stuff. And reading something the other day about how everyone got a gold medal. The lowest medal you could get was gold, and then there was very gold and platinum.
Oh, yeah?
And then the owner of the event got up and said, and if you feel like your kid got a gold medal that you wanted something higher, they're for sale out in the lobby. So you could buy your kid the platinum trophy instead of the gold trophy.
That is a great business proposal.
Like, come on,
I like
really?
that guy.
Really? Do we have to go that far? Can't we just let the chips fall where they might with the kids? And, they got things to work on and improve. Telling them they're great at everything is not how they're going to succeed.
Yeah, my mother always said, "You don't work, you don't eat, boy. Get out there and hustle."
She doesn't sound like that, though.
I know she doesn't have a southern drawl, but she does say
It's much more aggressive as well.
it's more aggressive, and she usually swears at me and that type of stuff. Gets me all juiced up.
Oh, okay,
I
go
want to
ahead.
hear about your mama's advice to you guys.
I
Steve,
am
you go
not-
first.
Get off the bus, you idiot.
Your mom said what?
My mom told me to get off the bus, and she called me an idiot when she did it, and I'm still scarred to this day. You happy?
I'm happy. That's
You
what
happy now?
I was getting at that, and I'm so glad
You
you
dug deep.
You took the bait. Ben, what does your mom or dad always say?
My dad has ingrained in me that I need to look at the future, not necessarily always the present, but try to forecast in the future as to what would be the best move. I always thought that was really, really good wisdom. And
That's because if you looked at the present or the past, you just get depressed.
Al was talking to me. Steve, shut up. So
That was awesome, Steve. If you just look at the present and the past, you'll be so depressed you can't do anything.
Just look to the future, son, and something might get better for you.
There's a rainbow around that corner there.
Mom, she kind of didn't really cater too much to like an injury, a physical injury. So, playing soccer and hockey and all that, little league football growing up and stuff. It's like, man, Mom, my elbow is still hurting. So this is what would happen. He'd grab my ear and say, here, worry about your ear instead. So I have used that advice and everything going forward.
Just so everybody
it's a
knows what
mindset.
just happened there, Ben whipped my headphones off and yanked my ear almost off my head.
He pinched his ear.
Pinched it.
But he does it to his kids.
I
That's
think he
horrible.
ripped part of it.
Ryan's mom or dad, what'd you guys get advice as the Luce family?
I don't think there was like verbal advice from my parents. It was more watching my dad work hard and manage people and doing what needed to be done. And then they, of course, at 7th or 8th grade, we all had to get jobs.
Go out and look for a job. J-O-B.
It's just the way it was. Regardless of what was given to us or not, or what sports were we involved in, we all had to have a part-time job of some way, shape, or form. So 5th grade, I think I started delivering newspapers. 7th through 12th grade, I was a janitor, scrubbing toilets, cleaning out locker rooms at my high school. Yeah, it didn't matter. We always had to be working outside of the house doing something. Yeah, I'll talk.
Seriously?
I'm ready to talk more about Steve's mom now.
That was not a snooze event at all.
Yeah, that was great.
Honestly, I remember being, late teens, 20s. I mean, I had a child in my teen years, and I had to go out and work for my child. I had to go out and, make it happen. And there was a point where I kept on using her as a safety net, and she was like, "That's it, boy, you are cut off." And man, if I didn't have 2 or 3 jobs at the time trying to make ends meet, it would not have happened, right? I don't know if people are aware or know what it takes in certain generations that are coming up, that there was a rite of passage in that we're missing, or we're almost saving people from that rite of passage with all this extra weird help that doesn't make any sense, doesn't have consequences involved, doesn't have awareness involved of anybody around them. If you aren't even aware of like being polite to somebody and, caring about other people's position in life with yours and how you affect others, then how can you even work to grow success with other people? You can't be an island, right, Steve?
No, you cannot be an island. Al?
I mean, I could be the size of a squash.
An upside-down squash. But I cannot be an island. So the advice I want to give to, again, somebody who's a business owner or somebody who's in sales, someone who works in a company, and you want to get better at what you're doing, you want to see some improvement in anything. It could be even somebody at the PTA, want to improve their relationship with school and students. I don't care what it is. Whatever you're doing, be aware. Count your activities. Yeah.
Pay attention to what your actions and choices are. Sometimes even record them, and know that there's results that are coming out of them. You are basically what you choose. You are what you do. You ever heard of "you are what you eat"? That's true as well.
So you eat a lot of squash.
I eat a lot of squash.
Okay. Well, that brings us to our next segment, and that is message to the employees. Anything fun, anything new, anything exciting to tell the ConEquip family?
My wife is having a baby on January 3rd.
Ben's wife's having the baby on January 3rd.
Awesome.
We have 4 new people starting in the last 4 weeks.
Who do we have?
Go Aaron, IT manager.
IT man.
Kicking some butt.
Yeah.
IT man is kicking
really
butt.
good.
Love it.
We have David, who is going to be hitting the sales floor. He's been trained.
Way to go, David. Sound effect of applause here.
Nick will be starting kind of like basically the 3rd step of our sales training, which will be assisting Sam. And then we also have Justin Tatlow.
Wow.
He didn't even get his first paycheck yet.
Has he started?
He didn't even start yet.
Next week.
Next
But-
week, Monday?
Well, hang on.
No, Monday's a holiday. Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Tell him to be here on Monday.
Okay.
He will be.
And we have one more started on Wednesday.
We got another one. Her
Jocelyn.
name's Jocelyn.
We got 2 new receptionists, too.
Welcome.
Welcome.
We're now approaching that 50 employee mark where
Yes.
you're going to be required to take care of us, right?
Yeah, thanks,
No.
Obama.
We are not.
I am not taking care of Steve at all.
We are not required to take care of people. We are just forced against.
Our will.
Dang. Is that going to be coming up in an
It's not
upcoming
even
meeting?
constitutional, I tell you.
All right, do you guys hear that music playing?
Not at all,
That
Steve.
means
Ben,
that
not at
we're
all.
coming to an end. Our 6th podcast is in the books. Next week, we're going to continue with core values. What is the next core value? Al.
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Would you look at that?
Awesome. So hope you join us. Make sure you subscribe. Love to hear from you. Remember, you can check out our website at sellingforlife.com. We've got some videos up there, some other stuff I think you might find interesting or helpful. Email us at contact@sellingforlife.com. So, whether you're trying to sell a vacation package to a family of 4 or you're just trying to convince the driver at a 4-way stop sign to take your right of way, one thing's for sure. You are always selling for life!
That was so awesome. You had so much injection in your voice.
You injected something.